Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ghost in the Podcast. I'm the Inda, otherwise known as Titania.
I'm the
Then
podcast, otherwise known as Alexander the Magnificent.
I'm the ghost, otherwise known as the ghost.
the ghost himself, Eminem. Sorry, folks, he might have forgotten his
Themselves.
name.
Themselves. Their name.
What?
I'm using they them now.
Oh, they so. I, I support that part of you, but I don't support anything else, and I'm not gonna say it because it's too hard to say. But I support you in that specific
Themselves?
place.
Themselves. That's easy. That's themselves.
Easy for you, maybe, but I don't like.
I don't like change, is what you're gonna
Yeah,
say.
this is getting us cancelled.
No. Themselves.
We need more than 100 viewers to be cancelled.
It's true.
Sorry, no, sorry. Let me try it. Themselves.
Yes, very good.
No, I just don't like to do things unless I do them right the first time.
Oh, so you just get discouraged easily.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you managed to turn me into a ghost in the podcast on the first try. Wait, actually, you didn't. There were multiple attempts before that.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
glad
get
you didn't
discouraged.
get discouraged.
I mean,
No, I know the problem is that I did. I'm the necromancer. Remember,
Yeah.
I'm now autistic, so
Yeah.
because I have to do
Alright.
it over and over.
Right.
yeah. It usually is not a problem because I'm great at everything, so I just succeed the first time. But on very specific things, I fail. So I never do them again.
That is a very good life's philosophy, honestly. You know, just don't do it unless you do it perfectly on the first try.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here to talk about Data Life again, unfortunately. My day is already ruined. But listen, the end is in sight. We're this close to finishing it. We're already
Only 1 hour
almost done.
left.
1 arc left. We've already done the movie. We're probably not going to be doing games, or at least anytime soon. We're going to be moving to greener pastures after this. And then we're going to be done with Data Life for foreseeable future because it's going to take a while for more Data Life shit to come out. So we're almost there.
At least a year.
At least a year. We are very, very close to being finished. And I'm very glad. We're not going to be doing celebratory dance yet because we still have the finale. But we're almost there. So, Space Girl.
We are halfway there, yes.
Oh, we're halfway there.
You're gonna get a
Living
copyright
on a
claim
prayer.
post. Stop.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot that this is absolutely copyrightable.
It doesn't matter how
We're gonna-
it doesn't matter how badly you sing, it's still copyrightable.
Right, yeah, exceptionally mean to me today. Okay. So
I mean,
who?
yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I just forgot I inserted fake memories of me being nice into you. But yeah.
Yeah, you gotta work them out. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, this is essentially why we did it in the first place. So who wants to start? Because we're gonna be doing the recap as usual. Alex, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I'll let
wanna
you
do
start.
it, Titania? Okay, I'm gonna start then. So we begin the penultimate arc of season 4 of Data Life, pretty much where we left off. If you remember correctly, last time Westcott Prescott became an evil anime villain. He revealed his true form, and he became much less interesting as a villain in the process. He stole Nia's gem, acquired her power, and now he has the power to like create like shadow copies, shadow monsters, whatever. And he ostensibly also has access to the book that tells him everything that is happening. So of course, in order to solve this big issue that has been created, we need to immediately do something about Westcott. But Westcott doesn't waste any time. Westcott immediately attacks our intrepid
heroes?
intrepid heroes?
Yeah.
Question mark is. But before, yeah,
To be fair to the writing, we do learn that Nia, was it?
Yes, Nia was Nia is the manga girl. Yeah.
Nia is stopping Westcott from using the full power of the book, but we don't
Hence
know.
why Westcott doesn't instantly win.
Yeah,
Although
we don't know
although
how
what
much,
that
but yeah.
yeah, what that means isn't explained. She just sort of matter-of-factly states that she's like preventing him from using the full power of the book. But what does that mean? Does that mean he only gets access to like incomplete information? Does that
No,
mean
but
he's
wait, no,
like
he gets good, no, he gets full information. He just doesn't get the power to write the future.
I mean, we don't
Okay.
actually know that specifically, but it's possible.
Highly implied that's what it is. He can't write
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah, it's highly
Right.
implied that's what it is, but it does. It is a lot of free cards out of that writing mistake, but yeah.
But before Westcott Prescott goes on the offensive, big reveal. First off, after the crew of Ratatoskar, yes, I'm not forgetting.
You want to know the biggest problem, actually?
Yeah.
Because Nia was incapacitated at first. Okay, unless we learn Westcott perhaps has another plan, but unless unless we learn something like that, had he won, like he just written in the first place, like the I win essentially before Nia could wake up, he would have won essentially, but he didn't. So
We don't know if it requires conscious effort on her parts to block Westcott from using full power. Point number one.
Remember, he was able to use the create future power. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. Fuck. God, he's
Why
such
did
a
he just
terrible
fucking win?
Right, because he had to swallow stupid pills to become this new villain.
That's why I say it's still a writing. Okay, like mistakes and writing is like they're more like guidelines. I'm just saying to be more agreeable with my sensibilities, because all art is whatever. Art is subjective, but this podcast is subjective and our opinions are fact. You know what?
Yes.
You know what we mean when we say we don't like something. So yeah.
Yes, we mean that this is objectively true, and you can be wrong if you want to, but we're just correct.
Exactly. Thank you,
Yes.
Ghost.
Right. So the arc begins actually with the introduction to the new conflict of the arc, the new girl, a space girl that is adrift above the Earth, just sort of.
She's throwing meteors down into the earth, and
yes.
What's the reason?
Because the teacher is very upset about being single at 30. Could you imagine such a thing?
Yeah.
Oh right, that did happen. That is the actual beginning, right? Because the meteor falls in the school, yeah, and then
because she wishes that meteor would kill everyone in the world, so she wouldn't have to deal with being 30 and single.
No, not all, not the school, but like near the school. Yeah.
Are you saying that PE grounds don't count as a school?
Well, when you say it hits the school, people think it hit the school building, not like the PE. I agree that PE is part of the school, but when you say it hit the school, people think it hit the school building. So you're correct, Alex. It's just that if we are to tell people picture-wise in their mind, they will think it hit the school instead of the PE ground. So it's better to be more specific. So yes.
And Lord knows this is all about accuracy, isn't it?
It hits the PE grounds. You are correct, Alex. Thank you.
Our motto is the reverse of adeptus ridiculous: accuracy over entertainment.
Exactly.
Absolutely. This is why we have so many subscribers. Anyway, so the meteor hits the school grounds, hits the PE. Shido is, of course, whisked away to Ratatoskar to be told about this new development. There is a girl floating in space, and she apparently sent these meteors to the Earth because she was attacked by Westcott's forces. Yes, and then before we can continue, we are introduced to a sort of bombshell development, a incredible new, very important plot point. We are finally introduced to the man, the myth, the legend, the mastermind behind Ratatoskar, the actual founder of the entire organization. presumably also the person, actually running things,
And
which
probably providing all the money for Kotori.
yes, which again, this is the man. So let's just make it clear, everybody. This is the person who looked at Kotori and decided, yeah, she's gonna be competent running things around here.
I mean,
Yeah.
we still don't know what happened. Maybe Kotori forced him to make her a leader. We don't know what happened.
The point is that this is the man who got cucked one way or another into giving Kotori just complete unbridled power over this organization to the point where she can spend millions upon millions of yen to create a replica of her of her house inside the ship.
I mean, I don't think it's millions of dollars, but it's very expensive, definitely.
Do you have any idea how expensive normal spaceships are?
Okay, I don't think building a replica of the like a house part is that whatever. I don't. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's a bajillion dollars. What did you want to say, Alex, about the man, the myth, the legend?
This man that also looked at a 14-year-old girl and was like, yeah, I think my multi-billion-dollar spaceship should be run by this girl.
Exactly. The reason
She's in middle school? She doesn't know algebra?
I think she's younger than that. Anyway, the reason they meet the man, the myth, the legend, the person I don't know the name of, but it's very important. It's that they have to go to space.
Yes. Also, important to note the wheelchair man. He is on a wheelchair. Apparently, he's disabled, or at least that's what you are supposed to be thinking, that he is disabled. He's being moved around. Yes.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
That is sometimes relatively obvious.
Yeah.
Yes. He's moved around by a girl that looks suspiciously like Ellen and is very quickly revealed to be Ellen's twin sister. And we are finally explained the ins and outs of like what happened. Apparently, this wheelchair man, Ellen, her sister, and Westcott Prescott used to be one group. They used to be hanging out together. They used to be an RPG party. They were bros and they were sisters and they were very close together. Yes.
They were bros and hoes.
They're bros and hoes, yes, till death do them part. But then, betrayal, betray me. The spirit of origin shows up, and this man, the wheelchair man, apparently fell in love with the spirit of origin. This is what he says right now. We still don't know who the spirit of origin is. The only hint we have right now is the phantom, the wild staticky girl that appeared in front of Shido in the time travel arc. But this man apparently fell in love with the spirit of origin, and this created the divide between Westcott Prescott, Ellen, him, and Ellen's sister. So the two of them split. Westcott Prescott created the military-industrial complex. The wheelchair man, with Ellen's sister, created Ratatoskar, and subsequently gave Ratatoskar to Kotori.
I have a question.
To run.
Do we know what Ratatoskar does aside from deal with spirits?
No.
Alex? Do we ever find
I
out?
don't think they do anything other than deal spirits. I think that's their only thing they do.
How do they get money for all their projects?
That's a great question. The answer: bad writing, probably.
Okay, I mean, it might be just the savings he got from
Being part of the military-industrial complex of Earth.
before disbanding.
Yeah, he probably made a lot of money from inventing magic.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't invent it; they discovered it. Also, just
Invented magic.
they discovered whatever. Regardless, just to be clear, the aesthetic thing was literally the spirit of origin. We just don't know what she looks like.
Well, there's some uncertainty about that.
Okay.
We assumed that was the spirit of origin, but that was never clarified, and I have huge doubts about that at this point, honestly.
If she is not the spirit of origin and just like staticky, then I will say that's like getting too complicated for no reason. But okay.
Well, it's entirely possible that this phantom, and I'm getting ahead. This is sort of a theory I have because this is, and it's I'm just I need to go on a little bit of a tangent here. I am amazed that I am still so invested to actually come up with theories about this shit because nobody cares. This is absolutely completely brain dead moronic. Why am I still trying to come up with like theories about what this means and what is happening? What's the actual plot here? I don't know. But anyway, here's a theory. There is actually two spirits of origin. One of them is the inverse of the spirit of origin, and the other is the uninverse of the spirit of origin. So the person, the phantom that we've seen, is the inverse of the spirit of origin, whereas the person that this man fell in love with was the uninverse of the spirit of origin.
Whatever that means, because
Whatever that
Interesting
means.
theory. A film theory. Thanks for
Yeah.
Yes.
watching.
yeah, my evidence is that I made it the fuck up.
Yes, my evidence is that it came to me in a dream. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I actually have some circumstantial evidence to back it up, but I don't want to say it here because this
we
might
can
constitute a spoiler.
we can talk about it afterwards. It's just
Yes.
I will say we do learn something about inverses that makes that the the sentences you just did because of what we learned about inverses makes it very hard to understand.
Well, no, I understand.
Because is an inverse or is an inverse an uninverse? And what is an uninverse? Is it also
We'll get
an
to
inverse?
that.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. This
In
is
any
gonna
case,
this is gonna be,
Put a
well,
pin
we're
in
gonna
that,
circle back
audience.
to it.
in any case, yeah, Westcott Prescott is like just fucking up the whole base. He's gonna destroy it, and the children basically barely manage to escape. In the Ratataskar's ship. Um, then Westcott Prescott appears, and he's gonna fight the old man.
Yes, it is revealed that the old man, who, by the way, I need to stress this, he has the voice of Kotomina Kirei from Fate. It's the same voice actor. So why they gave this old man that is supposed to be like mentor figure and a good guy the voice of an anime villain? I have no idea. But he clearly has the voice of an anime villain, and so there's no way that he's not going to be revealed to be a villain.
Wait, who? The priest?
Let me. Yes, the priest from Fate. Let me quickly check what's his name of the voice actor.
Oh, the sadist guy whose power is healing.
No, that's the other
no.
guy. We're talking about the Fate Stay Night, not Fate
Yes.
not Fate Zero.
Yeah, that is the guy from Face Night. He's a sadist and he kills people and his whole power is healing.
Wait, did you say sealing or healing?
Healing.
What?
Well, Kirei's power is not healing.
It's not stealing. It's not sealing, stealing, or healing.
Yeah,
whatever.
none of those. None of the above.
Yeah.
Remember how he heals Sakura's dad to death?
That's not.
What? That's not Kirei.
Yeah.
We're talking about the
Kirei
weird
is the
priest guy.
priest.
It's
Yeah,
the,
Kirei is
the
it's
priest.
the priest that had the assassin and then teamed up with the Ishmael. Yeah. No, it's not Ishmael. No, it's not Ishmael. It's
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
The
He's
king
the
of
guy
kings.
he's the guy that goes Yorokobe Shonen. Anyway, he is the voice actor in question is Joji Nakata. Thank you, Nakata-san, for being an incredible voice actor and voicing one of the best anime villains of all time, and also the Wheelchair Man.
No, it's you said it wrong. Thank you for voicing one of the greatest villains of all time, and the priest from Fate Stay Night.
Yes, and the priest from State Night. Yes.
Yeah, I mean you say that like doesn't work, but we might find out that the man in the wheelchair is a villain because
Absolutely.
he does a villain's voice.
There's
Absolutely.
always season 4 for reveals.
In fact, it's already revealed that he is lying, at least in a sense, because he's actually not a wheelchair man, because he stands up from the wheelchair. He was not disabled this entire time. He forces this poor girl, Ellen's sister, to move him around out of some kind of weird ruse.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let's not. You can be in a wheelchair and still be able to walk a little bit. Although he does. Okay,
He wrecks Westcott's ass.
Yeah.
He beats him.
He can walk so well that he can break Westcott's ass. Yeah. Just to skip, like, I think we should deal with this part now. Yes, he does. He's more powerful than Westcott, even with the book. I mean, suppressed it might be, it's still Westcott should be very powerful, and he just gets wrecked.
Well, we
But
needed to job him. We needed to job him immediately because he was hyped up as such a huge threat in the previous arc that, like, unless he was powered down immediately, the question of like why doesn't he just win immediately would like keep cropping in our heads. So like
yeah,
in that sense, I guess it's kind of good that Westcott Prescott like
wait
immediately
a
went on the
second.
offensive
They
and like immediately attacked Ratatoskar
wait,
because that at
they
least
don't.
shows that he was drunk with power. Yeah.
I just remembered they don't actually go directly to space. We have a whole Isekai arc first.
Isekai arc?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
go to
remember
the
where they go to the fantasy world?
yeah,
What?
they go to the fantasy
Do
world.
you seriously not remember this?
Did
Yoshino,
they?
Kotori is a little match girl. Nia becomes her manga, like her manga character.
I
The
don't remember any of this. What
Mi-
are you talking about?
Miku becomes the Little Mermaid. Like, you don't remember this?
I have. I, I'm genuinely drawing a complete blank. Okay, tell me about it.
We
It's
watched
okay.
this 2 weeks ago.
Probably. I listen. No, what do you mean? We just watched it 5 minutes ago, Alex.
Sorry,
Stay on
we
track.
watched this.
Go look it up just because I want to see your reaction. Data Life Fantasy Worlds.
Data life. Okay.
And images.
Let's let's see. Let's see quickly images. No, I don't. I'm not finding anything that would
Little
be
Matchstick
no.
Girl? Little Mermaid?
Okay, let's see. Let's go Data Live Little Mermaid. I don't think that's gonna give me the pictures. No, I'm not finding anything that would be no.
So I guess me and Titania will have to describe to you what happened
Yeah,
during
I
the
mean,
arc you forgot somehow.
yeah, I mean,
No, I remember everything that happens afterward, but the Isekai, I have no idea what you're talking about.
to be fair to the Ghost Eminem, he's not wrong that it really doesn't matter to this arc. It really,
Yeah, it is completely superfluous and it's literally just wasting time.
yeah. But essentially, Westcott uses the power of the book to trap them in
A
essentially like
fantasy world.
yeah, fantasy stories. Shiro is one of the he's the pig from the Three Little Pigs. Nia is her manga counterpart. Uh, Toka
But she
is the
easily got
story.
the best, coolest person here.
Yeah, Toka is the story of Momotaro. She even has like the magic peaches or whatever feet. No, it was Tongon, but whatever. You know Momotaro. Then oh yeah, Yoshinon is the Little Red Riding Hood. Um, then we also see Kotori, the little match girl. I don't remember what Kaguya and Yusuru
Yuzuru.
are, but yeah, they're
They're
around.
Hansel and Gretel.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, and yeah. Um, and then we yeah, and Kotori they don't have their own powers like their spirit powers, but they can use the powers of their their counterparts, which essentially nothing except for Toka gets a sword and the magic food, Nia gets a gun, and Kotori.
I wish I watched it now. Not like
Yeah,
Nia just gets a gun.
yeah,
Yes, it's like I'm a little match girl. I can light
Correction,
these matches on fire. I have a
He
gun.
gets 2 guns.
yeah. She actually looks the coolest one because she looks like a modern manga hero. Um,
She looks like a Neo.
not Neo, but like
She looks like a feminine Neo.
a feminine
I,
John Wick. I think is better.
that's just feminine Neo. I will also have you know that Neo is the feminine Neo, given how many like trans subtext the Matrix has.
Come on, it's like it, yeah. I agree it's a trans allegory, but Neo doesn't very few trans women want to look like Neo. We can agree on that.
Well, yeah, but like a whole lot of trans men would want to look like Neo.
Well, yeah, but like
But
that's
that would
not
be
a female.
masculine Neo,
That would be masculine
obviously.
Neo. Yeah. You could argue
Well,
that.
I mean, okay.
You could argue
Yeah,
that.
we
You
can.
played yourself.
You could argue that Trinity is the masculine. The masculine. Not the feminine Neo, because of
Okay,
that.
yeah, I could. Yeah, I can go with that. Yeah, that makes sense.
In any case,
Given the fact that in the new Matrix, she kind of also is the chosen one too. So like, yeah,
I mean,
sure.
we don't need to get into it.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. Yeah.
I did like it. It's just we will talk too much about that. What's important is that Kotori, she has the little magical powers, which basically is like a hologram powers. Like it's not actually there, but she can disguise things by lighting a match. And
I have a
eventually,
story to tell about this.
Hmm?
Once when I was a little kid, they were reading Little Matchstick Girl, and they made me cry inconsolably because I was the only kid in kindergarten that understood the girl died at the end.
yeah,
Yeah, which like yeah, so on that note, I think it's important to know that like her power is to make holograms, whereas if you were honest to the source material, her powers would be to die.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's not really holograms. That is a shorthand. It's like,
It's more like she can create illusions.
yeah, that's probably better to say. Yeah, it's not technology. It's magic. Anyway, I am more surprised honestly that you were told a little match girl, because I only found out about it later in life. I never heard about it in like, maybe it's more of
Kindergarten, like I did.
maybe it's more of a North American Western thing, and I was in South America, so I don't know.
I was told the story when I was a child as well.
Yeah, that's I think it's more
I'm in
it's more
Poland.
of a European thing,
Yeah,
Asian.
maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so they have these powers, and what do they do? And also, where is this taking place? Like, why are they isekai?
It's like a
There is a guy to a pocket dimension.
yeah, it's like a fantasy hodgepodge of animation of
when Westcott like did the thing and like they like sunk into the ground because of his powers, right? That's
Yes.
okay. Yes, okay. I was sort of blanking on like what happened afterwards and how did they get out. Okay, so how did they get out? So they were isekai into this pocket dimension. How did they get out?
you'll find out. It's very dumb. But essentially, they want to go meet the king because the king probably can help them get out. But they're not allowed because they all look like dirty peasants. So Kotori uses the magical powers to make them all look like princesses, including Shiro, who now looks like Shiori.
That's why I skipped it.
You didn't skip it. You just got annoyed.
Yeah,
No,
Watched this. I watched it with
possible.
you.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
I am impressed you got so angry that you were able to delete it from your mind. But yeah.
That's been a standard for Data Live on me. I had to acquire that ability because otherwise I would just go insane.
So yeah. In any
Because
case,
according to little sister, sneaking into a ball is way easier than dress.
yeah. I mean that's true, to be fair. But anyway, we then inside we see that the king apparently I don't know what happened, but like the Little Mermaid was sold or given to the king as a gift, and we found out it's Miku, it's the Little Mermaid, which when you think about it, it does make sense because she's the singer, and the Little Mermaid, her voice and all those.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, that checks out.
And she
Of
refused
course,
to make the deal about getting the legs. She was like, "Fuck you!
Yeah,
I'm not
Of
making
course,
that deal."
of course, Ariel, the Little Mermaid, famously was not a raging psychopath.
yeah, but it is funny how like once one person's tragedy can be another person's comedy, because essentially you know how for example what was it, Oedipus and also Macbeth, if you just swap their stories, because Macbeth was very self-aware about the tropes, so he didn't want to complete the quest. But if he had been like a little bit more active, he would have suffered less, and also Oedipus because he wanted like to reject his future so much. That's why everything bad happened to him. However, if he was another type of hero or protagonist, he would have not suffered as much because it's about the person in the tragedy is like it's because of their own issues that the tragedy happens, not
I I don't want to go on a theater tangent here, but as a theater kid and as a person who
okay.
used to play,
I'm trying to say
yeah,
that if Cinderella was Goku, she wouldn't have had the problems, the same problems. You know, different heroes have different problems.
yeah, okay, sure.
Like you,
If Cinderella was Goku, she would not have the same problems. Absolutely, she
Yeah.
would be able to blast her sisters to smithereens. Yes.
yeah, and she wouldn't want to marry the prince. She would want to fight
Yes,
him.
she would want to fight the prince, of course.
Yeah. In any case, but you know what you know from that, you know what I mean, right?
I just have this amazing image of Goku in a dress, like a little bit too tight dress, and the prince like runs after him, picks up the crystal shoe, and like tries to put it on Goku's foot. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then Goku challenges him to a fight.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it turns out the crystal, like the crystal was too heavy because it was weighted clothing.
Because because Goku was training, of course.
Yeah,
It's so good. And then Goku is like, "Oh, you were able to pick up my shoe. This means you're very strong. Let's fight."
yeah. Anyway, one more okay. Oh yeah, and then we have the best reveal. Like, and this almost makes it worth it, but it's not really. Origami comes out, and you know what? You wanna know her fantasy parallel?
Hmm.
It's the Emperor's clothes because she,
What?
the Emperor's clothes. Do you know that fable?
Yeah, I know that because the emperor is naked. Yes.
Yeah, so Origami is also naked.
Okay. Well. Okay. Good. That's
The
interesting choice.
she does have a cape and a crown, but that's it. And essentially, how they fooled her was only people that love Shiro can see this dress, I think, or that's what they told her. Which is
What?
because Origami is so smart. It is very funny that this happened, and I'm not even mad about it because it's more being silly and it's not really a big problem. But what is a big problem is that the wolf that was hunting Shiro at the beginning because he was the story of the Three Little Pigs. The wolf appears again and wants to fight them and kill them all.
Okay.
And none of the spirits have their powers, and Nia also ran out of bullets. So
Okay.
you wanna know how they solved the problem?
I very much honestly the visage of naked origami as a emperor's clothes story, this kind of makes me actually want to go back and watch it because I wish I remember this.
Well, this might be the reason you're so angry.
What's your bet? What's your guess on this arc that you forgot that we watched 5 minutes ago?
You don't even have to guess, but like, let's say this might be the reason. The
No,
ending
no,
might
no.
be
I
the
want to
reason.
hear. I want to hear the ghost guess.
Okay.
My guess, my guess is that they like I don't know defeat the wolf with farts, something really stupid.
I mean, you're not that far away because the ending of this arc might be the thing that made you so angry that you forgot because what happened essentially was that Shiro comes in with a sword and just kills the wolf immediately. But it's not our Shiro, it's the Shiro from the manga, the other story.
Okay,
And he's all cool about it.
so it's the cooler Shido. It's the cooler
I mean,
Daniel.
it's not, I mean, yes, but no. Like, it's the Shiro from the manga story they wrote. So
Okay,
he immediately solves the problem by just using the Toka. Because he is the Shiro from that story, he can use all their powers because
right,
that's
because
in
he's a
his
story version. Right,
Yeah,
right.
so he uses Toka's sword to open a portal, and they can all get out now. And throughout this whole arc, Shiro has been very annoying and very like unassured of himself, and so he asked this more confident version of himself, how are you so confident? Like, how can I know that I will be right? And that manga Shiro just tells him, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. You can do it, essentially, and that makes Shiro feel better. Which, I mean, it's not really what he said, it's more that this is a version of Shiro that he can aspire to be, so that's how we end the conflict, and then they go to space.
But it's a completely fictional version of Shiro. Okay, what was the point of this entire tangent again?
Nothing.
Why does Westcott Prescott now have Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh powers to like lock people in the Toon world? Like, what is going on?
I mean, yeah.
Why does he never use his power again? Is a better question.
I mean, it didn't work the first time, so.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like he tried it once and it's like, well, that didn't work. Why would I do it again?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, as long as because the story of the fictional manga Shiro exists, they will always fail. I mean, like, he can use it for like maybe like stopping them for a little bit, but it's not that long, so. Yeah.
He didn't account for the existence of fictional Shiro.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he knew that all of this was happening. Anyway,
well, he has to. He has the ability to read the information. He doesn't have.
Omniscience.
Yeah.
He has to actively choose to ask a question to get the answer.
Yeah.
And also just because he's able to perceive this information doesn't mean that he's gonna like draw good conclusions from them. He is incompetent, as we found out.
Yeah, he's very incompetent actually. That's a problem with making your villain too strong. The more strong he is, the less good like
Competent he could be.
Yeah. Because otherwise he will just win.
Yes. Anyway, okay. They go to space now. Finally, ahead of them, they send the hologram of Shido to talk with the girl. Yes.
I mean,
now we're actually
remembering this correctly?
they also have a fight with Ellen, and Ellen is like.
Well, that happens later. First they send the hologram. No. First they send the hologram of Shido to talk to Mukuro, and that fails. He is only managed.
Mukuro's like, what if I don't want to be part of your little harem?
Yes,
he has no real answer to that.
This is actually really based. Mukuro is the second character now after Nightmare, who is like, well, I don't actually want to be like your girlfriend. It's fine. I'm floating here in space. All I want is to be left alone. And then, if she was just left alone, everything would have been fine. There would be no problem.
I think she was still gonna send meteors to the Earth.
No, she only sent the meteors because Westcott Prescott attacked her. And in fact, she so far Mukuro has been the least destructive of all spirits.
That's
Every
not
single
true.
time before,
That's not true at all.
that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true because that is no. Listen. That is absolutely true. Every single time a spirit previously appeared, they would cause a space quake on Earth. Mukuro didn't. Mukuro is just floating there in space. She is doing no harm to anybody, and then Westcott Prescott attacks her. So what does she do? She fights the forces, she destroys them, and then sends the junk back to Earth. That's it. And given where she sent the meteors, where we like saw the on screen where those meteors landed, she wasn't even targeting like big population areas. She was just like throwing them back. She might as well have been throwing them into the ocean.
Yeah,
she could actually throw them into the ocean.
Yeah, she could if she wanted to, but she didn't. So.
Okay, but I'm not saying that she was completely not destructive. She was the least destructive of all spirits.
That's objectively not true.
Well, yes, it is true right now. It's gonna become false, but it's going to become false because of Shido's involvement.
No, not like even right now. The amount of damage with the meteor she did is like, it's equivalent to like 20 space quakes. Like
false, absolutely false. Space quakes annihilate.
Okay.
One of the space quakes annihilated Russia.
It's not all space quakes are the same size.
Or like created equal.
Yeah, like Miku. Remember, she did a space quake to what was it? see a concert.
Destroy like 2 blocks.
Yeah, it was
She didn't even cause a space quake. She threatened to cause a space quake.
really. Oh,
Yes. Yes,
What-
none
what-
of the spirits in the show actually managed to successfully pull off a space quake. Not a single one.
But that's because the story would stop if they did.
That's also not true because Origami literally space quaked. Remember?
No, Origami didn't space quake. Origami shot her lasers
Yeah, and she killed her family, and then she
with the lasers. That the space quake.
wait, and then she immediately inverted. Didn't she invert and then have a space quake in the future or the past?
No. When she inverted, there was no space quake. Yes,
Wait,
this is a plot hole. Yes, but
Whatever. That's not getting into it right now. What I will say is that the amount of damage we have seen from the other spirits does not compare to meteorites hitting Earth.
again, this is only because she was directly attacked by Westcott.
Well,
so
yeah,
she has a.
if you said before she got attacked by Prescott, then yes, I will agree. But not afterwards.
Well, no,
With Titania.
But that's completely the opposite. Now that she was attacked by Westcott Prescott, now she has an excuse to like. Now she's justified in sending it back to Earth. Like
I'm not
all she
saying-
knows is that she was attacked by humans on Earth. Like she doesn't know who Westcott Prescott is, so she just sends this back.
I think the justification of whether she was justified or not can be argued with, but like, what cannot be argued with is the level of damage and the possibility of that level of damage. Because remember, Westcott is not gonna stop attacking her.
Okay, sure. So the correct course of action. The correct course of action. No, but listen.
I'm not
If
saying
Westcott-
I'm not saying Mukuru is a bad person necessarily for sending back the meteorites. I'm not arguing about that, but I will say that the gang, the Shido and gang, have to stop her because
That's
she's
my point.
dangerous. Because
But that's my point, though.
Yeah.
That's my point, though, because she was floating in space for God knows how long, and for not a moment was she ever a problem. She was only found out now because Westcott attacked her, so she sent this junk back. And now Ratatoskar and Westcott know about her. So the
Yeah.
correct course of action to solve the problem is not Mukuro, it's stopping Westcott.
like, yeah,
She's not the threat here. Westcott is. So why do they decide to go for Mukuro instead? And the answer is the same as every single time the spirit appears, because that's easier.
well, yeah, like actually, yeah, because I mean, they do want to get rid of Westcott, like they've been trying to do it the whole time. Well, not actively.
They have not.
Well, not actively, but like if the situation presented itself, they would prefer to get rid of Westcott. But like,
Westcott has been presented as a constant threat, and not a single time has Ratatoskar been proactive in trying to stop that threat.
yeah, but he's also very strong, and he has the strongest wizard, which is still a threat, even to like Origami, which like Origami is essentially the second strongest wizard, give or take.
Okay.
And even with spirit powers, Ellen still just annihilates her. So Westcott is very strong. Like, it's easier to just control the spirits and also,
Okay, but they had a lot of time to do something about it and decided
not
not
really.
to. Instead, they decided to focus on the spirits.
not really. It like the story is less than a year has happened, right, Alex? Or how long?
I know the entire story, the entirety is like 2 years. The entirety of All Data Live. I don't know how long it's been at this point.
Yeah, so it's not that long. It just feels.
I know
long.
because I know Shido's 16 at the start of it and 18 at the end of it.
Yeah, so it's not
But okay,
that long.
but I need you to follow me on this, because I need you to understand where I'm coming from and why my
Okay,
range about this story is the way it is. Yep.
Essentially, what you think is that they should have gone and tried to stop Westcott instead of trying to stop the Mukuro?
Yes, but there is more to it. There's more to it.
Just
So
tell me why.
let's review what we know so far. Initially, in Data Life, we were told that spirits are these dangerous beings that can cause huge damage to Earth because they are unstable. They can cause space quakes. We are not presented a lot of evidence of that. We are presented with Toka, but the only reason Toka is a danger is because she doesn't know any better, because she's literally 2 days old. She does not know that she is even capable of causing spacequakes. Every subsequent spirit we meet is not even interested in causing spacequake, except Kurumi, and she only does it as a threat. She doesn't actually want to cause a spacequake, because we know this because she never does. Then we are told that Ratatoskar and this military industrial complex of Westcott Prescott were both developed to stop the spirits, to prevent this threat. The military industrial complex employs ASAT and all the others to fight the spirits and to kill them. Ratatoskar, meanwhile, Ratatoskar mission is to seduce the spirits, to seal their powers, and to allow them to live on Earth as humans with humans, to sort of live together. But then we find out that the true goal of ASAT and the military industrial complex is not even to actually fight the spirits to prevent the cataclysm that they're posing. It's specifically for Westcott to harvest the Saphira and become the Demon King. So now the spirits were never a threat. They were never a problem. They were explicitly they were only a target for Westcott Prescott because he wants to gain their power and become a god. That's all there is to it. So clearly, Westcott Prescott is the real fucking villain here, the real threat here, the real problem here. So why does the mission statement of Ratatoskar is even about sealing spirits and not about stopping Westcott?
I agree with you. I agree with you until the last part because yes, that is what you said is correct, and it's like I think that's what Data Life also wants to say. But the problem is that the way to stop Westcott is like just do not allow him to get the inverse. So like
The way to stop Westcott is to kill him. Straight up. Just fucking shoot him to the face. Like, before he acquired Nia's power, he was just a normal human.
I agree. I mean, well, I think he still had the wizard powers. We find out, like, I mean, we don't know how the director is powerful, but
I mean, we do learn this arc that male wizards do exist.
Yeah, also that. But
well, no, we learned it previously with the soul black male wizard.
That was filler. But this arc we also learned it because there's a new.
But we learned that. But I told you the one black wizard was not in the book.
Yeah.
Wait, let Titania finish. Yeah.
There is a new computer AI, and it wants to tell them that the girl with the voodoo doll, the guy with the anime figure, and what was the third thing? Whatever, some third thing.
I don't know.
I don't remember what. They all have to get rid of their precious items. But funnily enough, because the wizards start attacking them, they use their treasures to stop them. So the guy uses his anime figurine to stop a bullet, and it turns out that the voodoo doll actually works, which is very funny. So the AI of the machine says, "Okay, you can keep your items," and yeah, that's that story. But yeah,
right, okay. But let's
to go back to your point about stopping Westcott. Yes, Westcott needs to be defeated and killed and all that. However, Rotatashkar is not currently in position to go attack him directly. So the best thing they think to do is to seal spirits because that does stop Westcott from gaining more power, at the very least. And if Mukuro was not stopped, she would have probably kept sending meteors to Earth. Not because she's necessarily a bad person, although we do find out later she is a bad person.
She is a bad person, yes. But, I'm not even defending Mukuro. I'm just shitting on Ratatoskar in this entire plot because the marvelous, ingenious solution that these people came up with, like how to stop the problem of Westcott, was to let's also target Westcott's victims. Brilliant.
Not real.
I think the spatial quakes are still a threat. You're just ignoring the premise.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. The premise is stupid.
Look, they're not. Yeah, they're targeting the same victims, but they don't want to kill them. They want to, make them have normal lives.
Okay, but here is the problem. What happens, and this is the problem that I've been asking about from the very beginning. What happens if they encounter a spirit that is not interested in this, that doesn't want Ratatoskr to help them. And this arc has shown us categorically that Ratatoskr and Shido are just going to try to help them by force as much as possible.
Yeah,
And if they fail, they don't have an alternative. None.
I mean they do actually have an alternative. They kill the spirits, remember?
No, that's not. Well, I mean, I guess they technically have that alternative, but like again,
They were
that
about
is
to do it. I don't remember with who, but they were going to kill a spirit. I don't remember right. So it
well,
is.
no, I think you're thinking about Origami and Kotori, aren't
Yeah,
you?
Kotori was about to
Yeah,
kill.
but Origami wasn't then a part of Ratatoskr. She was still with ASAT, who
No,
explicitly want to kill the spirits.
no, it was beforehand. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I agree, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to try at the very least, you know.
Well, okay, sure, but again, like this
Like
plan is
yeah,
like it.
they are supposed to go and kill Westcott. Yeah, that is important, and they should do that. But also, they should like going after Mukuro solves more problem that it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, sure, but like characters like Nightmare exist, right? Like Kurumi exists. So like we know that there are spirits who just may not even want to be saved,
Yeah,
to be quote unquote saved,
Kurumi
and
actually is able to escape. So she's
yeah,
yeah. So yeah.
she's just out there. So like after they've met Kurumi and after they've met Mukuro, why do they still persist in this plan where it's
Well,
clear that it might just be a complete waste of time and resources?
well, they're not pursuing Kurumi, so that's that. It's just if she shows up and Mukuro is there, and to be fair, they were like they tried to and like they learned more about it. And Mukuro's situation is not the best because she did seal her emotions and stuff. So
Right,
that was
right. Which let's get back to the recap. We can
yeah.
we can return to this one. Yeah.
We
So
don't need to go over this every single time we have an episode.
well, I mean, but this is what data life is. So we are gonna be going over this anyway. Okay. Shido, hologram of Shido is sent to talk to Mukuro. The conversation doesn't go very well, but we find out that Mukuro has like space powers, which we kind of knew.
And
Her angel,
she also sealed
yes,
herself. Oh, her power is Kingdom Hearts. Like she can lock
yes,
things
essentially.
into place or open them. Yeah.
Yes, she can lock things and she can open things. Her angel weapon is a giant key. That's why she has space powers because she essentially like opens a portal in space so that things can teleport from one place to another. That's how she sends the meteors. But this power,
Her
yep,
design is also very bad. Like
her design is just all over the place. Like, why does she have? Like, why does she
Why does
has
she have armor only on her knees?
only on her knees, only or on her shins?
yeah, like I'm not even mad that it's like a degenerate outfit a lot. That is a big problem. It's just it looks bad. It's just why would you do this?
Yeah, it looks bad and it makes no sense, and it's so busy. Like with the galaxy in her hair, like there's just you just don't know where to even look at in her design. It's just
Yeah,
that's bad. It's probably the worst design so far, honestly.
yeah,
Like Nia's inverted spirit design was bad. This is way worse.
yeah,
Okay, anyway, yes, so we find out that Mukuro was able to use the Kingdom Hearts power to close her own heart, which just means that she is not receptive to falling in love with Shido. She's not receptive to being sealed. She, in fact, does not care. But that of course does not stop our intrepid heroes. Shido is determined to open her heart to so that she can let him in, metaphorically, so she can be sealed. So they travel to space. Ellen is in hot pursuit after them, and the big battle in space happens.
yeah. And
The
a way Kotori taunts Ellen is that um who Westcott Prescott was going to attack them, and Ellen didn't know because she said Westcott would never do that, and so Kotori says, "Well, why don't you go and find out?" And Ellen just still doesn't believe her and thinks it's just a bluff. So she keeps attacking the team and stuff. And
Yes.
that's when Shido goes to Mukuro, and yeah, you can say that part.
Also, one thing. Well, meanwhile, while this is happening, Origami engages with the other like Strike Witch girl that was shown with Westcott and Ellen back at the Nia arc. That she like recognized her, but we still don't know who she is. They engage in a short conversation, and what I think is the intent of it is that this new girl's like memory was changed or wiped somehow, which we know Prescott can do. So it's possible, but she's kind of like a secondary villain, so that Kotori, not Kotori, so that Origami can have like a foil for herself, because Lord knows she needs something like that, because otherwise she just has nothing to do
It's
except
it,
be horny on main.
it's really not.
Hey, you see the symbolism? Origami in the old world was going to go to Britain, and this villain is British.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the parallel. That's the only change in this new timeline.
yeah. In any case, what happens next?
Actual Shido, not a hologram this time, engages with Mukuro, and this is great. He uses Natsumi, the witch girl's power, which again, reminder, we have no idea what it does. It just can do whatever
No.
apparently.
It can do. It can create anything. And
Yes, but usually from
because of the way Shiro uses it right now, we find out that if she wanted to, she could have literally just made the manga. Remember that the whole episode about they had to make the manga, and I had the theory
Mhm.
that oh maybe Natsumi has to really think about what she's making, so she cannot just make a manga herself. She has to actually think of all the pictures. But
yeah,
no, we
apparently
find out
no.
it's just you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter how
Yes.
complex or how detailed. You can just recreate whatever you want. So Shiro recreates the key of Mukuro, and yeah,
Yeah, but to be fair, this power is now mostly used to copy the powers of other spirits, which is kind of bullshit. But
I mean
it's both
Natsumi's
bullshit and
Natsumi's power
it's
is
both
already bullshit. Remember, she did that
yeah.
last
But
week.
this is both bullshit and weak at the same time, because on one hand, but when Natsumi uses it, like she can only just copy spirits, but like Shido has access to the powers of whatever spirits he sealed anyway. So now, but like he doesn't need any of that anymore, because now he just has Natsumi's power, which allows him to copy any other power.
Well, we do find out something. I mean, not all the powers. I mean, there are powers that are not item based, so that's that. But also, we find out later that it's beneficiary to have the other powers as well because of reasons, but doesn't matter right now.
Anyway,
Uh,
he uses Natsumi power to copy Mokuro's power, has the giant key, and uses it to unlock Mokuro's heart. So now she can fall in love with him, which of course she instantly does, because who wouldn't, right?
and the reason it's very creepy and very weird because we find out that she sealed her emotions when she was a child, and she looks essentially the same except now she has giant tits. And like
And it's yes.
we discussed this beforehand, and like we went in the height chart, and we also went into like all this other stuff, and like yes, short woman with giant tits do exist. However, it why did you write it this way? And also like it's just Mukuro's outfit is very scantily clad. It's also very bad, and it's just because she looks so much like her younger self. It looks sus. I'm sorry, it looks
So,
sus.
have you ever heard? Do you know zero punctuation?
Yeah.
Have you
Yes.
heard his difference between a sexual and a sexualized character?
Yeah, like a sexualized character is a sexualized character is one that is not sexy by choice, is that is put upon them, while sexy character is one that
Well,
is
here was
sexy by
his
choice.
one. He says a sexual character is a character you can imagine having sex, and a sexualized character is a character you can't.
Okay, that is also
I don't think Mukuro knows what sex is.
yeah.
But this is very important. In this specific arc, we find out that in fact the clothes the spirits wear are entirely their own choice.
No,
They make them. Yes, they
no,
are because
yeah.
we were jumping ahead a little bit, but they go on a date. And Shida wants Mukuro to change into something different, so she doesn't just wear her astral dress all the time. So Shido hands her Kotori's outfit, and she first wears the outfit, but the outfit is too small in the breast region for her. Haha, funny joke. And her breasts are very very big. That's the joke. And then Shido just suggests, how about you just use your spirit powers to recreate these clothes? And
I,
she does.
I don't think I don't think the initial transformation is their choice of clothing. I think that's what the angel looks like. Oh wait,
Well,
okay.
but why don't
No,
they
no, no, no.
change it?
Yeah, no. It's their unconscious selves, how they imagine their unconscious selves, their desire. Because remember, origami wants to be a wedding,
And,
wants to be in a wedding, so that's why she looks like that.
mhm.
But it's
So
also
so I guess
yeah.
so I guess all of them except Yoshinon wants to be hypersexual, hyper
No,
sexy
not it.
girls. Okay, great.
They. It's not that they want, not necessarily that they want to be. Oh my god! I just remembered because she was a spirit when she was a child. She was transformed because before she even had like
Yeah,
lights, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
in any case,
I guess her subconscious desire when she was a small child
yeah,
was
but
to
it's not
be
it's not, doesn't necessarily
this.
have to be sexual, but it is.
I still like the idea that the dresses are random.
But
No,
they're clearly
they're
not.
not. They're based on their desires. It's just that because even if they are not like sexual desires, it's still like according to the story, it's their unconscious desires. So
What was established?
if that's what you told us, I think I don't remember. The reason you told us that the reason that origami looks like a wedding person is because like a
Right.
because of her desire to be when
That's
she
the
grows up.
author's dad. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when she grows up, she wants to be Then what's a wedding person like the groom and bride? Yeah, she wants to be
Right.
bride.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
bride.
Okay. So like, even if we assume that this is just subconscious desires, that is still bad because that means like that the small girl wanted to be the hypersexual weird lady with like
Well,
armor on her shins. But then
it's not
all of them,
necessarily that she wanted to, but that's what the author made her want to for some reason. Like it doesn't have to
Maybe
okay,
be
she
well,
wanted to.
it doesn't have to be sexual, but the fact that the author chose
but it
for that to
is.
happen, yeah, it is. But I'm saying in the story, Mukuro didn't have to think about it as a sexual thing. It's just what she thought about in the moment. But it's
So
still creepy because the author made it be that way. If
the implication still is I
yeah,
think that she does
if a person that was not weird, like if a person that was not writing for a specific audience, like otaku weirdos, made this,
pedophiles.
yeah, she would have probably looked like a princess, from a storybook. Like that's what little girls normally think about, subconsciously. But just
She does look a lot like a magical girl. I will give you that.
well,
Just
no,
like
no, but she
very.
she doesn't because she's hypersexualized. That's what I'm saying.
Oh
Like,
yeah, exactly,
like
I would say
exactly.
she looks like a magical girl. Yeah, I would agree with a minimum of that.
well, yeah, I agree, but like she magical girl is like Madoka Magica, it's not like super hypersexualized like Mukuro.
What about Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon
Sailor Moon is
is
absolutely not sexualized. Did you not see their
uh,
outfits? They're not super sexualized.
okay. Like I agree they're more like they're more sexy than like what the conservative Japanese person would say, but like their sailor outfit, like they're not they're not that sexualized compared to like Sailor Moon compared to Mukuro is totally different.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
night and day. But then again, you have to, as you said yourself, you have to take a correction for the target demographic, which is pedophiles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Night Alive. I mean, Data Life keeps doing it, so I guess.
They keeps doing, yeah. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me 3 times, you're officially that guy. Okay, well, anyway, so yes, Mukuru instantly falls in love with Shido, obviously.
And
Which again,
it's not as bad as it sounds because it's more about her trauma and like Shido reminds her of her sister, so that's why. But it's still
Well, let's pick back up to the beat by beat, so this
Yeah.
is comprehensible.
we are doing that. Yes,
Yeah, we're doing
we are
it.
doing that. Yes, they are.
But
Then
yeah, she afterwards Shido passes out for some reason, and then she says, "See you later. I'm gonna teleport and see you later." And so they go back to Earth.
Wait, did you even talk about them falling from space yet?
Wait, do they fall to space?
Oh yeah, they do fall. Yeah, they they do a Shepard. Yes, I remember that. So when Shido unlocks her heart, they sort of like hug, and then they start falling through space to Earth, and they're doing the whole planetary re-entry.
Oh,
Like they become
yeah,
a shooting star. This is the starting of the start of Mass Effect 2. Is
yeah,
what's happening.
and that's why she passes out. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he wakes up on Earth. Apparently, Mukuro teleported them, and she immediately wants to go on a date. And
No,
this is where
they're
the
not
episode.
on. Are they on Earth yet, or?
I think so. I think the episode sort of immediately ends there, and immediately begins with them.
No,
They're
but,
around Casper, which is in Earth's orbit.
Yeah, she's still not sealed, but they do wanna go on a date, but later because she disappears for a little bit. I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Maybe she will then like sort of appear out of nowhere and drag Shido on a date.
Yeah. And then she gets annoyed that all the other, just to make it quick, she gets annoyed that Shido is with all the other girls. So she makes all the other girls. Again, we have a memory plot about not remembering, which is like, not
Yes, again.
it's not as bad in the moment, but when you think about it, this has happened many times, so it's a crutch. So
Absolutely.
I will say it's fine for now because okay, it's it's different enough that I can forgive it. But if it happens a third time, that's when I'm gonna be like, okay, come out with a different kind of plot for your stories, author. Okay?
The one saving grace here is that as opposed to the time travel story last time, at least this time there is an explanation for why they don't remember him and why despite like not remembering him would make all of the events not make sense. It still sort of goes along because now they just don't remember him. The events actually did take place, and Mukuro's power causes them just to like have a fog over their brain, so they just spontaneously forget about the events of the past. So like all of this still happened. This still makes sense. They just forget. This is just a sort of a magic that makes them forget. This makes way more sense than
and even
time
if they look at like pictures of Shido or they look at like writing or like how did they even seal the spirits beforehand if they don't remember him? They don't. It's like a fog in their memory. They should. They're like their heads just start to hurt, and they don't remember.
Yeah, none of them remember him. So whenever Shido appears,
it's like in Percy Jackson the fog. You know, it's like they just don't remember. Yeah.
yeah. Whenever at first, like when Shido appears in the house with Kotori immediately doesn't recognize him and like chases him off. Then he goes to the school and meets other girls, and they also don't remember him. So he's just sort of on his own. He can't really do anything, and then he finally realizes what happens. Reminds himself that Mukuro has the power to seal stuff and to open stuff. So she probably caused this. So he goes to summon the Mukuro's angel to unlock their memories again. And this is when Mukuro strikes, appears out of nowhere, and seals that power herself. So now Shido has no.
I think they were already on a date by then, but yeah.
No,
they weren't.
The date happens. This is after the date. The date happens. Then they depart. Mukuro gets
was like,
jealous.
you have to get rid of all the other hoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. Essentially, she seals the power of Natsumi that is within Shido. So yeah.
Yes. So now Shido cannot unlock her memories, but Thankfully, there is another saving grace, but again, also a little bit of a problem because, as it turns out, when Mukuro closed the memories of everybody, including Origami, that caused this timeline's Origami, the one that merged
mean,
back with her other timeline
they
self, to
they
resurface.
not exactly. She was always
Exactly.
there. She was just
Yeah. Okay.
sleeping, so she switched places with the other version of Origami.
Right. So apparently, what this implies is that there is always two Origami. It's just that this universe's one just is not present. Not she like is a separate consciousness that exists beneath her and just sort of is there. Why
I,
she
I
never
know,
she
I
never
know,
resurfaces is not clear.
I know this is not medical term anymore because, but she's Origami essentially has multiple personality disorder, but it's like
This
fine.
is not a medical term anymore because that's not
I know.
that's
That's what I said. It's not a medical term anymore. I literally said that it's not a
yeah.
medical term.
As a person who ended up on a schizophrenic ward once upon my time in my life, I can tell you for a fact that I know a little bit about it. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
There is no like two separate personalities.
this,
That's
this,
not how that
this
works.
is not the movie Split, but it's like it's like the magical version of like whatever. It's essentially there's two
Whatever.
origamis inside her head.
Yes, which is weird because why does that not apply to literally everybody else? Right? Like when they traveled from when Shido traveled from that universe, that collapsed timeline to this timeline, and like the memories that he had came back to all of the other spirits because they all shared his spirit power and they all regained the memories of that timeline.
Do, do,
Shouldn't this happen to literally everybody? Shouldn't everybody have like a version of themselves from this timeline and another from that timeline?
uh,
Why does it happen only to Origami?
do you want the fan fiction answer or do you want the real answer?
I want the one that makes sense. I don't want to hear it's bad writing because I know that's the answer, but I want one that makes sense.
Well, the fan fiction version is that because there's those two people were so similar, they can just come together because the reason origami is still there is because origami is so different from the other version of origami.
And everybody else was just so similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I like that explanation. That's what I'm going
I
with.
hate that explanation. This is such a stupid explanation.
it's a fan fiction version because that's never stated. That the real answer is just the other spirits
But right.
don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. The real answer is bad writing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, but this entire chain of events also leads to another character that we haven't seen for a while coming back, which is Dark Toka. Because when the old origami came back because of this problem with memories, so did Dark Toka.
And I would say Dark Toka is not better than Toka. Like I am impressed that Toka is not as annoying as she could be. But yeah, I will say Dark Toka is more fun than normal Toka because
I like her more.
Yeah,
It might be just because
She
I'm a
has three
sub.
brain cells opposed to two brain cells.
no, she
It
has
might be just
not even that. She just has more personality.
yeah. I don't know. She just has a little bit of a different position. She's a dom. She's like she's more like dominating. She's more straightforward. She's more demanding. Like she's
actually
more of an actual princess than Toka.
Yeah, and also she feels more like a what they say like I don't want to say real person. No, it's like I had it on my um she's she feels more like an actual like wild spirit than Toka because Toka just is Toka feels like somebody that just has amnesia while Dark Toka feels like they're an actual spirit and they don't like what's normal to them is not normal to us.
Yeah. And she is also definitely a mommy that I would want to step on me. So that's good. She's fun. She's better. She's cool. But she appears. She wants to confront Shido immediately, having memories of him and remembering that this
She wants
weakling.
to
Yeah.
beat him in a battle because
Yes. She wants to beat him in a battle because she cannot accept that this weakling human was able to
seal
so
slash
completely to
give her
seal.
a
Yeah.
kiss.
Yeah, to so completely take over the emotions and the heart and mind of her uninverse self, of her other self, that she wants to go confront Shido, confront these feelings, defeat him in battle, and regain her true form as Dark Toka.
Yeah,
And she also cannot forgive him about the fact that he kissed her way back
without
when
without
Piku,
consent. Yeah.
without consent. Yes, so she wants to solve that problem.
Which okay, it like just I I remember what I said in a previous scene where I said like it wasn't that bad because it's like at the time we didn't know that the inverse was literally another person. We just thought it
Mhm,
was like the same person, but like they have like a problem,
mhm.
because it's different from like if like your boyfriend or husband gives you a kiss when you're like having a like destroying like the house or anything and they try to stop you with a kiss even if it's not consensual because of the relationship, but
Yeah.
because Dark Toka is another entity, it's not just like Toka but very angry. It is
It's much worse. It's much
yeah,
worse.
yeah.
In fact, this demonstrates also this completely demonstrates that consent entirely unrequired for the sealing of the spirit. Entirely,
No,
because that was non-consensual and
it's not necessarily because it's more like the kids awaken the normal token. That's what happened. I
okay,
guess
sure,
okay, like
whatever.
imagine if a ghost um possess your partner and then you kiss them to bring out your real partner. I guess that's what happened, which is not as bad, but it is.
That would be still non-consensual against the ghost possessing your partner.
Yeah, but it is.
If I
Yeah,
possess somebody and somebody tried to kiss me while I'm possessing that body to get rid out of me, I would not consent to that.
I
But you're
agree.
also a ghost possessing someone, so
Well, yeah, but
according to
in this
your
case,
opinion, possessor.
Inverse Toka is also like, sorry, Dark Toka is also not like, she's not
Yeah,
possessing anybody. It is her body as well.
yeah.
So
This
it makes it
possession
more,
is the perfect
it
analogy.
makes it
Yeah.
more complicated. It's not as bad as a non-consensual kiss. However,
But that's almost as bad. 99% versus 100.
it is worse than we thought. But I will say it's not as bad. But also it's more complicated. But it does justify why Dark Toka is angry at Shiro.
Yes. So Dark Toka and Origami go to where Mukuro and Shido are. Origami explains to Shido that she is the origami of this timeline, that she resurfaced, but she has all of the memories. Dark Toka breaks the party, and Origami manages to, in an amazing argument, convince Dark Toka that fighting Shido is not the answer. The only way that
Uh,
she can regain her honor is by defeating him on the battlefield of love.
not only does she convince
Can love bloom on the battlefield?
yeah, not only does she convince Dark Toka, but also Mukuro to go on a date with Shiro.
Yes, that's which is like I called it, and I was so mad that I called it because it's so incredibly stupid. Like I understand that Toka is not a particularly intelligent character, whether Dark Toka or not Dark Toka, but Mukuro spends this entire fucking time just being super jealous about everybody and not wanting to share Shido with anybody. And she's immediately convinced that yes, the only way this can resolve is she manages to defeat Dark Toka in a date off. Like,
And she she
why?
she she is also very stupid, and it's actually literally a child with no memories. You
Well,
know.
that's true. That's, I guess that's true. She did, yeah. She technically did lock her own memories. So she doesn't. She is a child with giant tits. Yes, we have
Yeah.
established that. Anyway, yes,
And
they go on a double date.
this okay. This is kind of funny because Toka is also a child with giant tits. It's just that she's like the born sexy yesterday trope. Meanwhile, Mukuro is literally a child. Like she's the whatever. She's like that trope. Whatever.
She is that trope. You mean the pedophile trope, the pedophilia trope? Yes,
Yeah.
that's what she is. Yes, Jesus.
I am not saying short woman with giant tits don't exist, but I will
Yeah, but
say
she's not a short woman with giant tits. She's a child with tits.
yeah, like the just the way it's the way it's drawn, because we see her younger version literally is just the art style, how it looks, there are things, and look, it doesn't matter really. This is just how we feel. If you feel differently, you're wrong. But yeah,
Yeah. You are free to remain wrong, but
yeah.
we are correct. Yes. Yes. So they go on a double date. First, they go to a maid cafe. Toka shows off her full dominatrix abilities by trying to force Shido to like eat strawberry of ice cream,
And
like
Mukuro
hitting on
also
him.
Mukuro also does the weird things. They get drawn out. They go to the observatory, but that brings out Mukuro's PTSD because that's where. Well, it's not. It's just it reminds her of her sister, and then the reason Mukuro is doing all of this is because her sister was having friends, and when she became a spirit, she locked out her friends, which made her family very mad because now nobody remember her, which was very fucked up. Of Mukuro again, it's just everything, just
Just
very.
the whole story is very like quick and very tragic. Like just Mukuro was very jealous about her sister as a child would be. She was given this amazing power by the spirit of origin or whoever. So she immediately went on to like lock the memories of all the other people so that they would only have her in her life, which very creepy, but for a child it kind of makes sense. Like I can excuse that for a child, much less so for an adult person. But then again, Mukuro is hardly an adult. Um, which I gotta say, as bad as this is, I still don't think this is nearly as bad as anything Miku ever did. That's number one. Number two, I can kind of sympathize with like this kind of jealousy.
I
It's
I
it's
I
it's
can
destructive. It's
I
terrible, but
I
I
can,
don't
but it's
I
also
get it.
very annoying. It's just like it's a child's problem, not an adult problem, and I
Absolutely.
don't feel comfortable with the way they made Mukuro look. Like okay, actually, I just do you remember the Pokemon movie, the second one with Entei?
Yeah, with Ante,
It,
yeah.
it is kind of funny. It's like a similar plot kind of because this child gets given an amazing power, um, and we do see an older version of herself when they fight her Pokemon. Remember?
I don't remember anything about that movie except Ante and Unknown are there.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, I mean, just the shortest recap so it doesn't take over this podcast.
This is the Pokemon podcast now. Good.
Yeah, sure. Essentially, the little girl just wants to have her dad back, so Entei is her dad, and also she wants to be a Pokemon master. So at one moment, they meet her, but this is not her because she's a little girl. This is like an older version of herself, and they fight her Pokemon, which are like just cute Pokemon, but because they're unknown and she's basically controlling everything, they're really super strong. That doesn't really matter, but it's just imagine if the little girl was just had giant tits and was very sexualized through the whole Pokemon movie.
Imagine if the small girl had giant tits. Alternatively, don't.
Yeah, yeah, you can also just not do that, but it's just you understand why it's a problem if that movie was more sexualized. Even like okay, even if it was for adults, I would still have a problem with the girl being sexualized,
Um,
even if it
anyway,
was a good
well,
version.
here's a question though that this kind of like intrigued me for a second
Mm-hmm.
while watching this. So like Mukuro has a very like childlike problem of this jealousy, and this is obviously annoying because this is a child's problem, not an adult person problem. But like she is given the visage of a child, so that sort of like fits, right? Would it be better or would it be worse if she like looked fully adult, if she like was tall and less childlike and everything else like that? Would the
And
problem that she's facing be more annoying or less annoying?
that's not really the real problem
Less
is that
annoying?
the real problem is her sexualization.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so if she looked older, which is sorry, I mean being taller does make you look older. I'm sorry, like there is
That is unfortunate reality.
there is a
Yeah.
societal expectation. I'm sorry for all the short stacks. Like I hate you. No, I don't hate you, but I'm just not attracted to you, which is the same thing. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. Okay, so just
God.
yeah, I'm joking, but I'm not. Anyway, um, what we're trying to say is that there are societal expectations, and being taller does give you that aura of being older, even if it's not true, but that is what happens in society. In any case, mm, because of that, she would look less sexualized because um, it will be less annoying for me because her being sexualized is not. It will still be a problem, but it's not as big of a problem for me in that sense. But it would still be. I think it would still be annoying. What I would want is like just for her not to be, just to have like a big dress that covers that it just to look like a magical girl, like Madoka Magica, that just
Mhm.
if that happened, it
Yeah.
would be more convincing for me that she has this child's problem because she is a child still,
I just
at the very least mentally.
I just want one of the next girls that is going to be introduced to just wear a hijab, you know? Can we get some modesty in these Data Life girls?
The hijab is, yeah, it's I
I know
I
it's a
don't
religious
no,
clothing.
because it's
I know, I'm
like,
just making a joke.
yeah, no, it's just it is interesting because um
It has the edgy atheist. I approve of the religious joke.
the the problem with the hijab is when it's put upon a woman, that when it's not a choice.
Oh yeah,
But as long
yeah.
as it is a choice that you can wear whatever you want, of course, like
Did we
that's
not
not a
did we
problem.
not decide though that all of their clothing are choice, right? Or did we not decide that?
We did not
It,
decide that. We
well,
decided that you're
it's
crazy.
no, it's the initial clothes they get are based on the unconscious desires, and for some reason the unconscious desires of this little girl were to look like a
Well, that's
hypersexualized.
speculation just based off of the reason origami is. We all probably know that
Well,
could just be
Well,
coincidence. Origami might have just gotten lucky.
okay, viewers, tell us in the comments. What do you think? Is it a choice? Is it subconscious? Is it fully conscious? We want to hear your opinions
We're
on
leaving
this.
it at the comments so we don't discuss this for another hour. Move on.
true, yeah.
Okay, we're nearing the
But
end
yeah,
though.
just to answer your question, I would prefer just to be fully clothed and not sexualized. But if she was older, it would be better for me. But it would still be very annoying because we have it. It goes from being the worst problem that is Mukuro, which is just a child, that actual child, and then you just sexualize them, to the problem of Toka, which is just the porn sexy yesterday trope, which is still bad, but it can be done better.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's bad, but it's better.
yeah.
Yes, it's bad, but it's better. Anyway, okay. So Toka, while Mokuro is having a bad PTSD flashback, Toka and Shido engage in a short conversation, which gives us again a little bit of a bombshell information, because Dark Toka reveals to Shido that in fact the inverse spirits are the true form of spirits. And that the spirit girls that he have met and he has sealed are not really the true versions of spirits.
They are the
They are
inverse.
just, yeah, the inverse are the pure spirits. The spirits that he's been meeting are actually spirits that have been refined, quote unquote, by the spirit of origin to be compatible with humans. We
Yeah.
don't know what that means. We
Except
do
for
know, and Shido, yeah,
except for Toka, which is
yes, except
yeah.
for Toka, who has always been a pure spirit. She was the one spirit that did not get created by merging the little gem with a human. But Shido sort of like starts being angry and asks Toka like, "What does this mean? What do you mean? But like compatible with humans?" Which is like wild because Shido already knows this. He knows how spirits are created because he had seen it firsthand. He knows how the process works. There is a
Wait,
gem. The gem is put. Yes,
did he see
he
it?
saw that with Nia. Nia explained it to him.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
There is a gem. The gem is put into a person. The person becomes a spirit. Bam. We don't know why all spirits are girls. That is a good question. I don't know why the Spirit of Origin decides to only go for girls.
I mean, it can,
Maybe the Spirit of Origin is sexist.
it can also just
Clearly.
it can also just be circumstance. Maybe all the girls are more compatible. Just like with the Saint Seiya, the old man, nobody ever questions that.
I will remind you that the Spirit of Origin specifically refined these gems in that way, so she must have had some ulterior motives for why specifically making that for girls and never any men.
No,
Yikes.
you don't know that.
I think I do. I'm gonna take a wild guess. I don't think the author thought about this that hard. To be honest,
okay,
I think
yeah,
I think something involved in this process was hard, but it wasn't thinking.
I can agree with that, but I don't want the double standard where if it's all a man group, then it's okay. It just happened to be that way. But if it's on an all girl group, then it must have been it's because only women were allowed to be in this part of the world.
If all the spirits were male, I would have the same problem.
Yeah, and I don't agree with the problem. Essentially, I mean, I don't. It's we can agree it's just like a writing decision more than anything. It's a writing decision.
Yes,
They wanted
it is a bad writing decision. Yes,
not necessarily bad writing, but it's a writing. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah. But I just don't like the double standard where like an all male group or an all it's not questioned, but a female group is questioned to be only because females were allowed. But I'm not saying you guys are saying that. I'm saying like that does happen.
Well, okay. Anyway, Toka gets annoyed by Shida, obviously, and she decides to just cut the charade and be like, you stupid human, I only told you this because I wanted to, not because I had any obligation, and I think it's time to finish this battle. Maybe I will steal a kiss by force. Mukuro arrives back on the scene, very angry. They start fighting, and things very quickly escalate.
Yeah.
Alex, do you want to finish us off?
Super annoying at the maid cafe.
Oh, that's not okay. We talked about it a little bit. I don't think we need to.
We talked about it enough. We don't. We move on. Mukuro,
I just think it was really funny watching the maid cafe get continually more annoyed at their antics.
Yeah, and just talk about how Mukuro is the worst person alive when she does this.
But Alex,
we could get to Mukuro being the worst person alive.
Yes, tell us why you think that she is worse than everybody, and while she's more genocidal and worse than anybody else.
Oh, it's because during this fight, she decides the one way to make sure she and Mister are the only two people alive is to stop the planet's rotation.
Yeah. And she also gets a new outfit because that's different for some reason. It's better.
It's the genocide outfit.
Yeah, it's
her special genocide attire.
It's better than her outfit, but it's still bad.
She has more armor, which now makes a little bit more sense. Like it's not just her
she has
shins.
armor. She has her arms. It's still not her chest.
It's now the classic like fantasy sexy bikini that protects like only the like shoulders and arms and shins, but not the tits, obviously.
Yeah, but by the way, this is completely different from her normal outfit. This is not like an upgrade or like the full version of her outfit. No, this is completely different.
Yeah, it's very different. Like the color scheme is completely different. Like it's why she has this upgrade and no other spirits seem to have this.
The other spirits do.
I already explained. It's the genocide outfit.
All right, it's the genocide. Yeah. Of course.
But yeah, they fight. Origami becomes a spirit as well. They fight.
Origami engages with Dark Toka to divert their attention.
The other spirits figure out that Origami was right, and they also show up and they want to help, even if they don't remember Shida. And
so they use their spirit powers. They use their spirit powers to sort of counteract Mukuro's power to sort of keep the Earth going, so that it doesn't just. Yeah.
But it still doesn't fully work. And does Natsumi also transform or not? I forget.
No, she just appears there as her normal self. I don't think she has much to this.
No, like not even in her like she still doesn't use her powers. Neither does
Absolutely
Yoshino.
not. Yep. No,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
because
None of them use their powers.
I think it's because she will literally solve the problem. But yeah,
Mhm.
and
For the record, Yoshinon and Natsumi have just been relegated to hang out together for the rest of this thing. Like they are the two children that sort of are just there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind them hanging out. I think they're good friends. But like, it is.
You know what the problem is going to be? The problem is going to be that now Mukuro becomes part of this, and she is not going to be part of Yoshinon Natsumi crew because of her tit size.
I
Because she has tits, so she's an adult, and
yeah.
Natsumi doesn't, so she isn't.
It
I
it's
am not
more
joking. That's exactly
joking.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that we will find out that later. But essentially, what happens is that Mukuro is because this Mukuro still is like fighting, and like she's about to strike down Toka because of course like the power creep, like every spirit has to be more powerful than the last, except for Natsumi, which I guess, I mean, uh, is she more powerful than Mukuro? It's complicated. Like she does have the time limit because she can run out of magic, but well, Mukuro doesn't. But
Everybody is exactly as powerful as they need to be for the sake of the drama of the episode.
yeah, and so
That's the only real consistency, and it sucks.
yeah, and because Mukuro is the new hotness, she's so much more powerful than everyone else. So she's about to strike down Dark Toka, but Shiro gets in the way and gets his arm cut off. And then Mukuro is very sad, but Shiro says, "Oh, I still love you. Don't worry." And
Yeah,
this makes
she begins to invert, but as she does, Shido hugs her. He tells him that he's going to be her new family, and it's okay. But she needs to like promise to not fuck with their memories because families are together and they're gonna be good together.
Don't
Why
genocide the planet.
no genocide the planet? Why Mukuro just at this doesn't become even more inverted with like, well, I guess my old family was also pretty good to me, and I decided to go fuck off into space. That's
yeah.
probably sucks.
And what happens is that her family didn't have the Takno Jutsu. Shiro's actually a
Yes,
ninja.
yes,
He can solve all your
yes.
problems just by two sentences.
What this arc says that it's okay to be real family, and you can find real family in unexpected places, provided that this family is powerful enough.
If you have PTSD or mental problems, just go talk with Shiro and he will solve them.
Just fuck off into space and then find new family that is more powerful than your old family, and that's gonna solve your problem.
Yeah.
What a shit show.
I
God, when you
we
boil it down like
yeah.
that, that's such a terrible point.
You can tell none of us like this arc.
Absolutely not.
Mostly
Just start
because
data live.
it's mostly because Mukuro is such a terrible character because it's just I don't like the
Nothing about her works. Her design is bad. Her conflict is juvenile. Her flip flopping is terrible. The way the conflict is solved sucks balls. Just nothing here works and makes any sense. And no amount of like cool visuals and just a little bit of like heartfelt music over flashbacks is going to change the fact that this was a steaming pile of horse shit.
yeah, like I will say I think the fantasy story was better than the actual story wheel.
When the 5 minute gag in an episode is better than the entire arc, you know you fucked up.
It wasn't 5 minutes. It was like the full hour. I mean, but yeah.
It wasn't a full hour. It was like
No,
10
sorry,
minutes
sorry,
of the
like,
episode.
sorry, one episode and a half. Essentially.
Nah, less than that.
Yeah, like more
Are
one
you
episode.
talking?
Because the date and the memory wipe was a whole episode.
No, I'm talking about the fantasy.
Right. I know, but I'm trying to count this. The whole fight with Westcott Prescott and the fantasy stuff was one episode. That also included the conversation.
I think it might have been
with,
two. I'm not sure.
uh,
Whatever.
regardless,
It doesn't really matter.
regardless, that just goes to show that so much of time that could have been spent on fleshing out Mukuro, on making this work better, on giving this just a little bit more time and more effort, went into a fantasy gag episode.
Well, not. That's not really a problem. It's just the concept itself is a problem because it is really, I think, a problem with the design and like the choices. Because if Mukuro was just a child, yes, Shiro will have to kiss a child again, which I don't like. But if she was just a child, it would make more sense because then at the very least her
Why did blue
problem.
hair stop aging, but she didn't when she became a spirit?
Yeah, that's also true. It's it's just it's a it's a child's problem and it's data life. The show where you to solve the problem you have to kiss the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's a problem.
this kind of a problem in any other show would be okay. Would
Yeah,
be perfectly understandable because what Mukuro needs, yeah, again, is a sort of a
a
parental
family
figure and
like yeah.
a family. Yeah, what she needs is a family. Like the fact that like it would land way better if her family wasn't like as straightforwardly good as it was. If she actually had a very good reason to like close her memories of her
And
families
then
and fuck off into space, that would
you
work better.
you don't even need that. Like I agree, it might have been more Eastern, but you don't even need that honestly. But
Maybe
like
not, but
the problem is that to solve this person PTSD, you have to kiss this person, which is like, do you know Superman, for example? Like,
heard of him once or
yeah,
twice.
they're
Yes.
like, or maybe not. I'm trying to remember. Like, I think there's Superman stories. I don't remember which ones, but like, where he has to deal with like superpowered children, and he doesn't
Mhm.
solve the problem by kissing them and making part of their harem. But what he does is like, having empathy, which is what Shiro was doing. It's just that at the end he also has to kiss Mukuro, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
bad part of the.
Like imagine if Superman spent like an hour of the animated movie like trying to connect with these kids, trying to have empathy for them, resolving their issues, like hanging out with them like a cool uncle would, like playing baseball or whatever, showing them like how to grill stuff, just giving them a good time and like solving their issues, being like good family. And then like at the end they're like, okay, little Timmy, now we have to kiss.
Yeah, yeah. And
That
in the
would be
mouth. Yeah,
just that
yeah,
would be terrible.
yeah.
And that's
And
what Data Life is.
even if it was like even with adults, for example, like they had to solve the problem. Like, oh, it's like, remember that in the new The Killing Joke, the adaptation, they have Batman
Mm-hmm.
and Batgirl have sex
But
together.
girl, you have sex together at the
Yeah,
beginning of the movie. Yeah,
yeah.
just to, yeah.
It feels the same way as that. It's like, this is not this is not a good. The vibes are off.
Yeah. Alex, any input about this? Because you've been a little quiet there,
Yeah, I
buddy.
agree.
I don't have much to add.
I mean, were you serious when you said you liked the arc?
No, I was being sarcastic.
Okay. I mean,
It was sarcastic,
okay, no,
not
no, no, no.
sarcastic.
Like, I do like. Okay, let's try to say some positive things about it. Like,
No,
no, let's try to say some positive things just to not alienate the whole audience.
go
Like,
ahead.
Mukura's story in isolation, if she wasn't sexualized, is very interesting, and I can see somebody resonating with that. Um, I like,
If she did try to genocide the planet,
yeah, I like the. No, even that part is like, can be whatever. We can
I'm
have
with Titania.
like
I
we
didn't have
can.
much of an issue with the fact that she tried to genocide the planet. That's understandable and excusable for a child with godlike powers.
Yeah, the problem is it's not a well. Yeah, um, I did like the fantasy actually. Like I do think you should at least see the design of Nia's design when she was in the fantasy world, which is very good. Like I like the gags in that universe actually, like the book fantasy stories. I did not like the ending felt too much like a Deus Ex Machina. I would have preferred if like they beat the wolf and then and then they realized, oh, since this is a fantasy world, then they went to search for Shido, and he was able to, solve the problem then that will be more. That will feel better, don't you think?
If they were like, oh, this is a story world, so fictional Shido must be somewhere here, but where is he? And like they have to find him because
Yeah.
obviously he's like constantly trying to fix all of the problems of this world. He's essentially this world's Superman. There's
Yeah.
always something that he's fixing. That would have been a better story, yeah.
Yeah,
That would
because
have been interesting.
yeah, because
Yeah, because that's how they see him. They see
Yeah.
him essentially as the Superman.
yeah, instead of like just solving the problem immediately without like they could have literally just stayed in place and just hit, and eventually Shido with a sword would have come, beat the wolf, and then solve the whole problem.
Yeah.
Like
Because like
Yeah.
going circling back to Superman for a while, like the one big thing all good Superman stories have are the central conflict of Superman isn't like what it is for for other heroes, other characters very often. For Superman, that central conflict always is that you have a man here who is perfectly good, perfectly moral, incredibly powerful, but despite all of this, despite having so much power, there is so much shit in the world, he cannot fix all of it. He
Yeah.
has to rely on other people. He has to try to make a world a better place one step at a time because there is just too much shit happening in the world. He cannot be everywhere all at once. And if that was, what the story
and
Shido
yeah,
was, that would be interesting.
and when he does want to like do it all himself, he becomes a villain. like
Yeah, like an injustice. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
And
like
that would be honestly that would be even a solid explanation for why Ratatoskar functions the way it does, because it would be like, okay, we could devote the entire sole mission of Ratatoskar to stopping Westcott, and yes, that probably would solve at least this issue. But there are spirits out there who need us and who like require this empathy, and they pose danger to everybody and themselves. So like instead of trying to fix this immediate issue, we are going to try to fix that because that is what our empathy demands of us. And yes, this is a taller or ask. This is a waste of resources, but this is the good thing and proper thing to do. That would be a good explanation. We're not going to
I
get that
don't.
explanation.
Yeah, I agree that's a better explanation, but I don't think it's as big of a waste as you're making it seem to fix the spirits. But I agree, it would be nice to hear that in the story. Um,
Yeah.
Also another part.
All instead all we're getting
just talk
instead
about.
all we're yeah,
No, go ahead.
go on, go on, go on, go
Okay,
on.
I just wanted that another big part of why Superman is so inspiring is that this person that is so powerful that can do so many things still chooses to be good instead of being evil or taking advantage of people because he's
True.
more powerful. He still That's another part of why Superman is so inspiring. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that he's incorruptible. Not only is he so powerful, the power doesn't actually corrupt him. He just
yeah,
is good, and he specifically decides to hold back all of the time because he doesn't want to cause any
yeah.
damage
That
to the
that
world that he loves. This is
that does get comical in some scenarios where, okay, you don't need to hold that back that much, but yeah,
Yeah, but again, and this
yeah,
is also part of why writing Superman is often very difficult for
yeah,
writers, and
yeah,
they gravitate towards just making him, like Injustice, crazy and like drunk with power, because that's easier. It's
yeah.
difficult to write a compelling story, a compelling tragedy of a character that is so powerful and so moral. It's like that's why the best story of Superman is the Red Sun, because the Soviet Superman is just such an inspiring figure. Like this is exactly the framework
Until
to
they
put
decided
in the character.
libertarianism was the one right solution at
Yeah,
the end of
They
the
did not in
comic.
the comics. They
it
did not in the
yeah,
comics. The comic book
it is more implied. Like, yeah, in the comics, like the movie and the comics are
are
like
very different. Yeah, the
I
comic book doesn't have the
yeah.
horrible caricature of Joseph Stalin. Their Stalin is like a normal person, and not the villain that he is in the movie.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Stalin was like that's not the bad part. Like, I don't care about Stalin. You can shit on him, whatever. But the bad part is that just like at the end, Superman becomes just like normal Superman and goes to the U.S. to be like a
Yeah.
reporter, which is
Yeah.
like whatever, like
There's a lot of bad stuff about it.
Capitalism was good all along.
Yeah,
yeah,
He just looks at
Anyway,
the homeless people and he's like, "As the world should be."
yeah.
anyhow,
But anyway,
I think
in the original, it's implied that Lex, like Superman, was actually like a uh, descendant of Lex Luthor who wanted to fix the problem because capitalism fucked everything up, and then he wanted to send him back to solve the problem. But then, it's like a time paradox. Yeah.
Mhm. Anyway, we're now on a Superman tangent, so I think we're finished here. We can probably wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay. One good thing. One good thing I will
Is
say. Yeah,
is there anything you liked about the arc? Um,
I like Dark Toka.
yeah, I was about to say Dark
I like the
Toka.
pretty colors.
Come on, Alex, you say something.
Uh, I like the story time segment.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Mukura is
Okay.
it's just it's it's not her story should not be told in like a data life type of story because she, the fact that she has to end up dating Shiro instead of that's not even the bad part. It's just like no, because her story is so childish, and in the ending she has to date somebody, and those two parts don't align. If it
I
was
don't know. Listen, we're gonna come off as prudes, but I'm gonna say this: the real issue is her tits. Just don't give the child massive tits. That's it.
or don't show them so prominently in her.
That's how that's how easy it is. Just don't give the child massive tits. That's it.
I would say,
Stop it.
have you seen
Get some help.
One Piece? Like this doesn't really work because they're adults, but like for example in the one arc, Nami who has it's the whole meme of her tits, right? But like in the one arc, she wears a kimono and she doesn't really look that sexualized, which could have been also well done with Mukuro. But also, why give her giant tits or whatever? Doesn't just like it is just us being brutes because in a way, but also it's just I prefer the characters to be sexy because they want to, not because the author chose for them to be, in that outfit.
Mm-hmm. But
Anyway,
again,
I think that's a
you
wrap.
have to. Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, I have more to say, but also it would just be repeating myself over and over, and you know what we mean. It's just we prefer characters, and if you want them to be sexy, we want them to want to be sexy, not to just be like that.
Yep.
Anyway.
Don't invest in data life. The market is collapsing. Invest
If
in.
anything, what do you mean? The last season, the season did super well. Invest all your money in the Data Live.
Yeah, like
Shush.
also the gacha game is very good. I think still.
Please don't encourage them.
I mean,
put your life savings into the Data Live gacha game.
not in that way. In like an investment, don't spend.
No, actually spend all your money on the gacha game. Go ahead, fuckers.
Don't. Okay, that's when the goes in the podcast.
Bye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Good night, Internet.